I learn 500 things every single day. And then I'm not a Gen Z. I had to learn crypto. I had to learn Web3. I had to learn decentralization. Like, I learned everything, but I saw it from a space that was mass adoption was meant to occur.
What does it take to make $1 billion transaction or billion dirham transaction, whatever? What does it really take?
To be honest, the way that I see it is whether it's a 100 dirham transaction or it's a 1 billion transaction or it's a 20 billion transaction, the metrics are always the same, which is politics, diplomacy, people, understanding who wants what. That is success. And for me, that has always been the case. I've lived through experiences when that is not the end goal, and you always end up in legal issues, you know?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Farah, hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Great, amazing, fabulous.
I can feel the energy. Feel the energy.
Yes.
Do you like the way you look on camera now? All
No,
good?
not really. I hate the way I look on camera, but it's okay. He assures me that everybody has had exactly the same camera
fact,
setup.
it's on you, it's not on me. So you're supposed to do this in post-production.
Ooh,
So you take care of it.
Post-production make me look fabulous. Okay,
There you go.
Mohammed?
All right. So usually I start by letting people introduce themselves.
Oh.
So the floor is yours.
What, you want me to introduce myself?
I mean, you want to be known as a specific
No, I'm literally just a girl with a dream. That's it. That's my
and a lot of
introduction.
hair.
And a lot of hair, yeah. Well, not enough hair, clearly.
Not enough hair. All of this. You're like, you know these masks that they put on cats to make them look like Mufasa?
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mufasa in the making. I love Mufasa, by the way.
Me too. Lion
Oh
King
my
is my favorite
God.
cartoon.
Exactly. And does it remind you of your father?
It does, of course.
Yes. It like I think
Of
everybody
course.
that has an incredible strong father, Mufasa is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lion
And
King is amazing. Yeah, I have aspirations.
I watched it also live in Broadway. Obviously, it's not.
Did you? It's not the same. No,
It's not the
Khalil Ali.
same.
Yeah.
Even, you know what? Even the 3D one is actually not the same.
No, it's not. They could
And the-
never be anything the same because you know
As-
why?
yeah.
You had an authentic emotional experience.
Yeah,
It's very hard to replicate with anything
exactly. So
else, given any
the
medium.
the cartoon was really something else,
Yeah.
and the music definitely was on point.
So we're both Lion King fans,
Exactly.
and I'm sporting my lion here.
Okay. There you go.
Ta-da!
Actually, I'm gonna ask you the question that
Oh
you
my
wanted.
God.
I was like, so you've been living here for 25 years, so
Yes.
that means 25
I'm
very. No.
I came here when I was 2. I did, but yeah.
Okay, so that means 25 very hot summers.
I love the summers here.
So, but how do you deal with this hair in the summer?
Oh my
Like,
God, it's like the best because it's bigger.
how? I thought with humidity, everything like.
No, with humidity it kind of frizzes up. Like,
Really?
listen. I'm an absolute, like, I love the Emirates and I love Dubai and I love the summers. Everybody always complains about summers. Oh, we have to go. No, summers, I'm literally here and my hair is looking really good. I'm really good. We are good in summer.
So you're good.
Yeah.
So your hair is on point in the summer.
We
You're
try
good to go.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
try.
we try.
So good. So let's start with the introduction. Who is Farah Zafar?
Look, I've been
Or what would you like to be known as?
Look, I think when you ask that question, you know, as all of us, we're many different things
True.
over the trajectory of our lives, right? We start off,
Very
we're
true.
we're daughters of parents with aspirations. We then become corporate executives. We then are governed by the title that we hold. We're governed by society.
Molded by the things we go
Molded,
through.
You know, then you create, you know, I'm the rock star, which is like the Instagram.
We're gonna get to that.
Well, no, but you know, at the end of the day, if you ask me who is Farah Zafar, I'm just a girl with a dream right now.
And what's that dream?
The dream really is for Lively to succeed and for us to build the ultimate platform for the people. That's the dream. I'm a girl with a dream and a hustle, backed by, you know, 30 years of hard work and trying to make a difference. That's exactly who I am right now. Yes, I'm a rock star. I've got big hair. I'm a corporate executive. I have titles. I'm a CEO, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm a girl with a dream. That's who I am.
And do you think some dreams are too big to achieve?
I think if dreams are not too big, then it's not a dream, right?
Well said.
So
Well said.
dreams are always big. Dreams are always there to, attain, to strive for. If you believe that you could not achieve them, then you have to change mindset. So the dream is huge. The dream is very big, and I struggle with it every day. I mean, believe me, like, we have challenges every single minute of every day, but I think your belief system has to be greater than your dream to be able to have you be heavily convicted in the desire that you could achieve it. Because if you're gonna, get hung up on a dream that you believe fundamentally that you could not achieve, then it's just, a fantasy.
But that's exactly what I was trying to get at, is that at one point does a dream just become a mirage that's just really never...
I think it happens when you fail.
Yeah.
But you only fail when you know that you've tried every single thing and you still fail.
Yeah.
Look, dreams are called dreams because they're meant to be unattainable. Right? For you to be able to turn a dream into reality is about dedication, perseverance, resilience, the power of prayer, the power of belief. If you can harness all of those things, believe in a power bigger than yourself, and your dream is authentic, then you have a 70% chance of being able to achieve it. And I'm a positive optimist, so I believe that every day myself and my co-founder Dave harness the power of positive energy and resilience, and we overcome challenges every single day because we have a dream that is so much bigger than ourselves. But if a dream was not bigger than yourselves, then what are you aiming for? So yes, it's a dream. Is it unattainable? Absolutely. Can you attain it? Yes. Do you believe that you can attain it? Absolutely. And how do you do that? You do that through the power of prayer and positivity. And you harness the entire power of the universe.
And do you feel like Lively is an embodiment of your dream?
Oh my God, it is. That's so well said, Mohammed. Like, literally, absolutely. Absolutely. The embodiment of an idea that cultivated into something. You see, Lively was... Can I go into how I started?
Of course.
Okay,
it's all about you. You can do whatever you want. I'm on your time.
Yay. Okay. Look, I'm a corporate, my father emigrated from, India, Pakistan, the partition, 1947,
the Great Migration.
The greatest migration ever in the history. Moved to the UK and just worked really, really hard. Obviously, I come from an immigrant family, and there it's like lawyer, doctor, dentist. My older brother's a dentist, I'm a lawyer, and you work so hard because you're just striving to make your parents proud of you, right? Build a better life.
And you want to break the cycle too.
And you want to break the cycle, absolutely. So I was in this very corporate, regimented, go up the ladder, do every step at a time, do it, and I did it. And then there was this shift, and I think we all felt it, which was like COVID. I was working for MBS in Saudi Arabia. I was in Saudi. I was in lockdown. COVID happened. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, take it back to basics. What do you know? Okay, I know how to build billion-dollar corporations. I've done that for every boss, CEO, ruler in my life. Rocky Boo-Boos! Hi, my love! Hi, baby. You can come here, my sweetheart.
Okay, come.
Come? Okay.
Well, let him go. Let him. I think, you need to let them. I think now, Farah's life is complete. Now she's in her happy place.
Hi, baby. Can you be a good boy?
Okay.
Okay. And
Hey.
isn't he the cutest thing
He's so
in the
cute.
world? Hi, say hi to Mohammed. Say
Hey. Hello.
Ooh. Okay, be a good boy. Sit down. Ooh. Sit down. Sit. Be a good boy. Yay, good boy. There you go.
Yeah. So you were saying that you were in Saudi.
I was in Saudi. COVID happened.
And you had a very senior position there with one of the most important companies in Saudi.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you were the chief legal officer for PIF.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty senior, and you've held it for a few years.
3.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean.
But COVID hit, and I just thought, I know 2 things. how to build $1 billion corporation and the future is tech. And listen, I am the most untech person in the world.
But that's crazy. Like, exactly. Like, you come from
I
such
am
a
the
league.
most untech person ever.
Yeah.
Habib Albi. Waki wants to go. Okay, go and explore, Habib Albi. Okay. Can you stop panting though?
Yeah.
And I think, you know what happened? I literally was like, is he interfering in the yeah, he's interfering.
It's okay.
Okay,
That's
you can
fine.
take him outside. What? Oh, here. Waki boo-boos. Shoo hada Habib Albi. Come here.
You can always edit these things out.
He's
It's
so
fine.
excited. Okay, get him less excited and then bring him in so he just... Waki boo-boos. Are you going to just sit with me and be a good boy? Maybe he'll just sit with me. Waki, do you want to just sit with me and be a good boysies? Ha Habib Albi. Ya Amr.
How many years did you
He's
have him?
5.
No, how long did you have him for?
Since he was 3 months old.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
3 of the years I was in Saudi. I missed his
Okay.
life, and I don't want to miss it anymore. Okay, Habiba Albi, yalla, I love you. Ya Amr. Okay. Oh. Bye, Habiba Albi. Ya Amr.
See you later.
Yeah.
So you're the most untech person, but you
The
decided
most untech person ever.
decided to take a leap of faith.
I literally like to move like an iPhone to a new iPhone. I
Wow.
would struggle. Like,
But
I'm
like
the
how
most
do you
untech.
go from one extreme to another, from a person that's so untech into a tech entrepreneur doing, I don't know, $1 billion transactions and this and that?
It's called education.
Yeah.
It's called, do you know what it was? It was like, I think we all felt it, right? The COVID happened, pandemic, exponential shift. I mean, I remember like my 90-year-old father like got his first iPhone and like we were doing Zoom calls. Like it was like insane. And then he found me on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, I thought my Facebook account was dead. And I was like, oh my God. And I knew that there was this paradigm shift, which was tech. And I just thought, what is the future for me? You know, and I thought, if I do not embrace tech moving forward, what am I doing?
That's
why.
such a high level of self-awareness that at this age, you actually.
Age. Yes, I'm old, and you don't have to say how old.
I'm not gonna say. I
It's a
didn't say it.
secret.
I didn't say it. No, but at this age, in the sense that I mean, like our generation, like 30, 40, because you're sort of already set in your ways, and the last thing you want to do is pivot. Let's say at the beginning of your career, at the peak of your career, you should be, because when you pivot during that time, it's very hard. But so you realize that okay, tech is where you want to be, right?
No, I didn't think tech is where I wanted to be. I thought that. So, look, I've been a lawyer for like 27 years, and then I've kind of reached the pinnacle of what I was going to do with law. Right? I've worked for whoever at the pinnacle, and I kind of...
You hit the glass ceiling.
I literally hit my glass ceiling. At the same time, I was being incredibly aware that every corporate experience that I've ever had in my life has not been fulfilling. It's been incredibly challenging.
Always something missing.
Not missing. I mean, you
And
have to
probably
understand,
as a woman,
you know, coming to Dubai, 25 years ago and being in positions that I've been, people think it's easy. It really was not easy for me. I knew nobody when I came to Dubai, and it was very, very difficult. So what I'm saying is that, you go through this struggle to be who you are corporately, and you get to a particular level. But at a particular time, you're like, okay, I've met my glass ceiling. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Okay, now if I'm going to do something for myself, what does that entail? And for me, what was I going to do?
Right.
And I remember, and you're going to edit this if it's not relevant, right? No, I'm going to tell you a story that may
We're
or may
having
not
fun
be
now.
relevant.
I don't think it's a podcast. I think we're just
let's
chilling.
just have fun. Okay, I'm going to chill.
Yeah.
So basically, I literally was like, I can't do this anymore. No, I can't. Is it a right angle?
Yeah, it is. Don't worry.
Is it?
Yeah,
Are you
you're
sure?
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mohammed, is it Mohammed or Mo?
Whatever you want.
No, what do you want?
I don't care. Mo,
No.
Mohammed. It's what you want. Usually people.
No,
But
it's
the
your
nicknames.
name. What do you want?
Wallah, people's nicknames. I'm like, you call me whatever you feel is cooler for you. So you want Mo, Mohammed, Souk, whatever you want.
Okay, but what do you prefer?
I don't prefer anything. What do you want? Mo,
Whatever
just
you
Mo.
want. Mo.
Okay.
So, Mo, I was like, to be honest, my entire corporate journey has been so difficult. And I don't mean that to be like a prima donna and say, oh my God, it was so hard. It was really hard.
No, it is.
And it was so funny because my best friend was in town and we've known each other for 30 years. And even she's probably the only person in my life that knows how hard my corporate journey has been. And even her, she's like, I literally don't know how you survived it all. It's been very hard. So I got to a stage where I was like, okay, I've worked, with all of my corporate and personal and humanitarian fundamentals in check, which was loyalty, respect, honor. When you're in a corporate environment,
there's
you
no
have
place
to play.
for
You have to play.
There's no room for this.
It's very political. It's highly
dog
engaging.
eats dog type of
yeah,
place.
and I literally never wanted to come from a place from that. So I needed to succeed where I didn't compromise
On your
the
beliefs.
base fundamentals, what I believed was, integral to who I was, which made it probably harder, right?
Yeah.
I got to a stage in my life when the pandemic hit, because I think it's the only time when we were able to take a step back. I was in Saudi, I was in lockdown, and I literally thought, I literally cannot do this anymore. Whereas everybody from the outside would look at me and be like, you've reached the pinnacle of your career. For me, it was a glass ceiling. I needed to do something else. I'd built billion-dollar corporations. I'd made billions of dollars for every boss that I've ever had, which, in my 27 years was always a man. I'd learned many incredible things from them, but I was like, it's my time, but how am I going to do this now? And I really had to look at landscape, and I looked at the future was tech. I had zero idea of what was tech. I couldn't even move one iPhone to the other. I mean, anybody that knows me when they knew I was going into tech literally laughed hysterically at me. And I was like, I'm going to learn. I'm literally going to learn. And Mo, I learn 500 things every single day. And then I'm not a Gen Z. I had to learn crypto. I had to learn Web3. I had to learn decentralization. Like, I learned everything, but I saw it from a space that was mass adoption was meant to occur.
Yes.
So let's see it from my lens, because then we can make it easier. We can make it intuitive. We can make it seamless. And this is really what we try to achieve with Lively. But, going back, Mo, like dreams are meant to be incredulous, unattainable. That's why they're called dreams. But you have to work for every fiber of your being, and you have to have every conviction in yourself and your journey, and you have to believe in the journey of life that has got you so far, and you have to believe in prayer and positive thinking and the universe to be able to come any step closer to making your dream come true. And I do that every single day.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously everything also does happen for a reason, and I don't think you would have reached that conclusion if you hadn't had that crazy / tough / demanding career of yours, right? Because I'm gonna go on a limb here, but I guess that maybe towards the end you're like, okay, you know what, screw this. I'm making billions for everyone.
Yeah.
I am making deals for everyone. I am putting the buyers and the sellers together. I'm closing all these transactions. I'm protecting everyone's ass. I am literally out here, busting my back for everyone for over 20 years and 27 and why don't I do this for myself? And I think for you probably that was the light bulb moment, if I'm not mistaken.
You're so right. Like, it was a light bulb moment, but it was also like bordering into an industry that I had zero clue about. But I believed in the potential of that. I didn't really believe
because
that
you
I
knew
could do
that
it.
you were riding the wave. You wanted to ride the wave from the beginning instead of entering something that was already
that I
so
knew
saturated.
how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, you're right.
Okay, that's great. So, and now that you've been here for 25 years and that you've had significant experience in building all these billion-dollar companies, what did you learn from them? Big question requires big answers and a big sigh. Actually, honestly, really, what does it take?
We could sit here for like 7 hours.
No, but what does it take to make a $1 billion transaction or $1 billion transaction, whatever? What does it really take? What does it really come down to?
To be honest,
because I've been through an IPO and you've been through an IPO.
I've been through many in my life.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's about you.
I'm like IPO queen.
I know the answer. I know the answer, but my answer is personal, so I want to hear yours.
To be honest, the way that I see it is whether it's a 100 dirham transaction or it's a 1 billion transaction or it's a 20 billion transaction, the metrics are always the same, which is politics, diplomacy, people, understanding who wants what, and being able to negotiate to closure. And what I also think is like my ethos on transactions has always been everybody needs to leave the table happy. You know, I've been with people that like you want to get on the table and you want to like F up the other person. And it's a win, right? Like you get on the negotiating table and you think you win and then you leave. But for me, that's never a win because that means that whatever negotiation and transaction happened, you now have an aftermath that you have to deal with. So for me, I don't think between a 100 dirham transaction and a $5 billion transaction, if you do this right, the ethos is the same.
You know
now,
why I'm smiling?
Stakes are higher. The stakes are higher, Mo. The stakes are higher. But
no, that's not what I'm smiling. But
I believe in that. I believe in it.
No, you know why I'm smiling?
A deal is a deal. The deal is a deal.
No, I'll tell you why I'm smiling.
Why?
It's because you were so on point in something that every single thing that you mentioned, if you noticed, is all human based. It's actually nothing to do with a freaking business. It's nothing to do with the numbers. Have you noticed?
No, I didn't notice. Like, are we doing a therapy session as well?
Did you realize? You
Sure.
notice every single thing that you mentioned is human based, which is right.
Yeah.
Because it all comes down to that. Because
yes,
I think what you're trying to say in summary is reading the room and managing the people that are involved from different parties in creating the deal. And I can't believe that you actually did realize that you actually said that, because you've mentioned all the human elements and nothing about the numbers, nothing about the figures, nothing about the structure of the company, because it's that at the end of the day, it's the people that are signing, right? So if you can't manage them, you can't really manage anything else.
Do you know, Mohammed, now that you've mentioned that, I remember I worked for someone who was incredible, like literally incredible. But what I never understood was like we would get into like a transaction deal process, and the people on the other side of the table. So we would like do all the negotiation, right? Like I was the CLO, we'd go into negotiation, and the last bit of negotiation, you'd get your big boys in, right?
Yeah.
And the big boys would come in, and for some reason they were able, it'd be like the last few points, and I'd be like, okay, these are the last few points, and the big boys would come in and they were like, okay, and then the last few points, and everybody would leave the table and everybody was absolutely ecstatic. You know why?
Why?
Because somehow there was an element of I don't know how to say this on your podcast, but like, you know, there's something about energy, right? So people would leave that and think that that was the best deal of their lives. But it wouldn't be until they reached their car park or they reached home or they reached the office the next morning and realized that that was not the best deal of their life. But somehow they had now accepted it. Why? I don't know. It's not coercion. It's energy in a room. You know, you can have like... I can't even say it on your podcast, but...
No, say it.
No, it's like, you know, like...
No censor, say it.
You know, like the, you know...
What?
Big boy energy in the room, you know? Yeah. But, I mean, I know I have the best energy and I'm a woman, but anyway, like the big boy, and there's something that happens when you see transactions. I'm an M&A corporate lawyer, so when you see energy, sometimes the energy gets transferred and they literally leave, and you think, I don't know how they actually accepted this deal. But you see, the win is not in the boardroom when you make that deal. The win is that the deal is so successful that everybody walks away happy from that deal. That is success. And for me, that has always been the case. And I've lived through experiences when that is not the end goal, and you always end up in legal issues,
Yeah.
So it's very for me. I always feel like a deal is like it has to be a win-win for it to be authentic and have barakat and have longevity and have success for both parties, the sellers and the buyers. It has to be. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And it's actually one of the best books that I've read, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, talks exactly about that, is that how you should always approach things with a win-win mentality, because if you're out there always trying to undercut everyone and trying to cut corners here and there, at the end of the day, you're just going to live a very miserable life, because that's all going to catch up to you at one point or another.
I love the miserable life scenario, but I don't think people really care about it.
What do you mean?
Like, yeah, I love that. Okay, if you do this, and then you're gonna be you're a miserable person. Nobody really cares about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like in corporate,
That's the last thing people think about.
Nobody ever cares about that, and they might think about that on their deathbed when they're 80 or 90, but nobody really cares about that. I think the key mission and purpose of that is just to really be flagging out that you want a transaction where everybody benefits from it.
Yeah.
Not now, but in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years. And I think people are very quick to make decisions on the win-win for the moment, and they lose perspective. I would love for people to think, can I sleep with myself at night? Am I gonna have this regret? To be honest, Mo, we're living in a society and humanity that nobody ever feels that.
Yeah.
And it's too late anyway.
I get you, but then again, that's why people make mistakes and people make good decisions, right? Because there's wisdom in both.
Well, the problem is in this world right now, not a lot of people are making good decisions.
Yeah, you actually said something in the interview the other day. You're like, I'm very disappointed with the world.
I am.
You actually made that statement,
Did
and
I
you
make
were.
it? Where did you hear that?
I watched it. Hey, come on, it sounds familiar.
Oh my God,
It
I'm
sounds
so
familiar.
disappointed in the world. I am. I'm
See,
sorry.
there you go. I did my research.
You did your research.
Yeah, but why are you very disappointed in the world?
I'm literally gonna cry now, Mo.
Trying to get under your skin.
Okay. That's so deep, by the way. Like literally, like so deep. I've always been very hopeful and optimistic and positive. You know, and I believe in prayer and God and humanity.
Alhamdulillah.
But I'm very disappointed in the world. And I could go on as to the reasons why I'm disappointed. I'm sure that those people that have compassion and humanity that are watching this would actually understand why I'm disappointed in the world.
Yeah.
I feel that there's a fundamental shift that's happening. And I am to the point that I'm actually grateful that I never had children.
Wow. Big statement.
Yeah.
Big
That's how
statement.
disappointed I am of the world. Because I think like if I had children, what would I be doing right now knowing that they have to live the next 50, 70, 80 years in this world? That's how disappointed I am.
The other side of the argument, just like they've been living for the last thousands of years.
No, it's different.
I mean, there was tyranny, there was poverty, there was all sort of medieval behavior before, right? So at least now you can see that there's some sort of checks and balances, not too much, some checks and balances, because obviously you and I know why there isn't enough, because we both follow each other on social media and we see what we post, and I fully agree with you with the current things that are going on. But then again, can you deny the fact that it is better than we're used to? Like imagine before, like when there was absolutely no accountability. I'm just being the devil's advocate.
I love that. I love that, and I've thought about this. So
And
you're not raising something I haven't thought about.
You know Nicholas Nassim Taleb? He's a very famous Lebanese Canadian statistician and author, and he says something very nice, a very nice quote. He's like, the arrow of history is always upwards. So yeah, so he's like, yeah, it's like up and down, but generally the trajectory is upwards in the sense that, yeah, we're improving slowly. Maybe not the way that we want, but like we are improving because you
Well,
can't.
I would love to have the positivity of him. I think that you're right. I mean, if you look at, history and wars, but wars were being fought on a battleground, men against men, without technology, without,
Yes.
capability of arms versus zero arms. I don't want to go into this too much here, but what I'm saying is that previously, when battles were fought, there were men against men.
I think I know what's bothering you.
Everything bothers me about.
No, but I think I know specifically what's bothering you,
Alright,
but
tell
I'm
me.
going to try. I think you're very upset and disappointed that things, especially things like technology that are supposed to be serving us, are actually being weaponized against us. And I think that's what's upsetting you. Did I get it right?
You did, but there are so many things that upset me about humanity at the moment. But that is one thing, and what you have to also understand is there are, it's the same big tech argument, right? Like all of these, like the minute iota of people, the 1 to 2% people in the world that control tech, that control AI, that control, everything else, are creating an environment that is not aligned with humanity and who we are as people.
Or with
And
the
that
general
saddens me.
with the general public, like it's just they're just pushing whatever agendas they see fit. Whatever it is, it's not reflecting the reality on the ground. I think that's what you're trying to say.
I think that that's also the other problem with social media and big tech, right? I mean, like our entire social media experience is in the hands of the few big tech boys, that control everything, our data, what we do, what we see, how we see it, what we hear. I mean, I'm sure everybody's experienced it. You're thinking about, buying a bloody hot air mattress, and suddenly that's all you see. I mean, come on, guys.
And this is where Lively comes in. This is where Lively comes in. But going back to one of the questions that I actually wanted to ask you, and then we'll talk more about what Lively is doing to solve that problem. But what was the spark that actually let you or allowed you to leave your corporate job into the tech and Web3 world?
Okay, so there are a couple of things. Are you in for a story? Okay. So
we've got time, no worries.
Okay, great. One of those things was I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I was done.
We talked.
I had done it. It was hard. I had done it, and I was done. That was one. Second, it was actually a really good friend of mine, and I was like, "Listen, I'm thinking of like packing it in. I can't do this anymore. What am I gonna do?" And she said, "Oh my God, Farah, you have to set up like your Instagram account. You have to do your Instagram account, and you need like a profile, and you need to this." And I literally was so depressed and bad, and I was like, I literally don't know how to do this. Like, what am I gonna do?
She's the one that came up with the rock star name.
No, that was me. That was all me. But I was literally like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Start posting food and hot pics of me in a bikini? Like, that's not me. And then she said another question. She said, but what happens to your legacy? Like, what happens to the knowledge? And that was a really interesting question for me because I've trained like legal teams, and you work, and you're in corporate positions, and I was like, oh my God, like, where do I go? And I literally started researching. So I was like, Instagram, I was like, here, I was like, oh my God, like, you're right, what do I actually do? And I think COVID, the pandemic, happened, and everybody understood that if you were going to do anything, you had to be able to create or monetize from your digital presence. And I literally looked at my ecosystem, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. I'm like, oh my God, I don't fit in. I'm not an influencer. I don't want to post about my food. I don't want to wear a bikini. What am I going to do? And that was literally the spark for Lively. And then Dave, you haven't met Dave. You've got to meet Dave. Dave's incredible. Dave is literally God sent angel into my life. We're both co-founders of Lively, and he's from wellness, and he experienced the same thing. pandemic, wellness, people weren't able to train their clients, etc., etc. And we both kind of put our heads together and we were like, okay, how do we do this? There was obviously this evolution, because before, what we started to do, we were like Zoom plus, right? The entire world was on Zoom. We're like, oh my God, you've got all these like lawyers and doctors and dentists. Everybody's doing these online consults, but Zoom doesn't integrate a monetization platform, right? So we're like, that's what we're going to do. We'll do Zoom plus monetization and calendar. Book your calendar, pay for it, do your consultation. We actually started with that. Of course, we then evolved, right? The future of social media, monetization, Web3, crypto, etc. But the entire premise was always because we wanted people to be independent of corporate ties, monetize your passion, and create something that it wasn't designed for the influencers. It was designed for everybody that should monetize from their digital presence.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you about the monetization now, but let me just change the batteries 1 second.
Yay! Okay, yalla. I can take a break, okay.
Does it record? Yeah. Okay, so you were talking about my favorite thing, which is monetization, because I'm always very intrigued as to how various business models work for different companies. And honestly, I've been doing so much research for the last few days about your company, and I am not understanding how because it's actually because I'm so intrigued, because it's so interesting.
Not like good research, Mohammed. Shoo harder.
I guess I'm a bad researcher, maybe. But honestly, all jokes aside,
let's do it.
You guys help creators monetize, right?
Yes.
But then how do you monetize yourself? Is it, for example, like, do the sponsors, or do you get like, is it people that come to the platform and they sponsor specific, let's say creators, and then you take a cut, or how does it work exactly?
Right. So basically at the moment, if you look at like, if you're on Instagram, I'm assuming that Instagram does not pay you a check.
Yes.
Right. If you're on YouTube, if you met a various threshold on their algorithm, which is totally secret, you may get a percentage. Yeah. You may get a small check.
Which is peanuts anyway.
Exactly. Okay, if you're on TikTok, it's the same thing. So 1% of all influencers, creators actually make money online in current big tech.
Yes.
Okay, the only people that really make money is OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right? And that's an 80-20 model. Like, unfortunately, it became porn-centric, right?
Well, I mean, it is.
It is porn-centric, Okay. So basically, Lively has made the halal OnlyFans, right? That's who we are. That's the simplest way to describe us. However, we've also...
I like this slogan, the halal OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is, right? You know why that's important is because OnlyFans makes $7.75 billion a year, and a proportion of that goes to its creators, like 20%. It's an 80-20
because OnlyFans is running on the, I'm sorry to say this for all the people that are watching, but OnlyFans survives on losers and people that have nothing going for them.
So, absolutely.
And they're just paying their way out of their misery.
Absolutely.
But for the halal OnlyFans,
but
I'm just wondering.
I know, but then look at Patreon. So Patreon, right? Set up in I think 2013. Love Patreon, but awful user experience. Have not moved with the times. They make $4 billion a year. Based on because people, even though they get content that is free from YouTube, they are willing to pay. 97.5% of content creation and consumption right now is not done through big media, newspapers, media, television, etc. It really is done through social media. The problem is that from that 97.5% of content creation and consumption, we're not earning any money.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to revolutionize that. So always saying,
if anything, you're actually slave labor in a way, because you're building the platform for them for free, and you're giving them all this data that's helping them develop such sophisticated algorithms
that the algorithms control everything that you see or hear or think.
Of
right?
course.
And everything that you buy.
Of course, because if they've been watching your every move for the last 15 years and listening to you even talk, because we all know that our phones listen to us. I mean,
Yes.
it's not a secret anymore.
No.
They know you. They've known you. They've known you for 10 years. They've known you for 15 years. They know exactly what you think, how you think, where you go, who you go out with,
Exactly.
where you travel. So
And therefore, I think it was about time that somebody was brave enough to launch something that was, look, our entire premise from day one was I wanted to create a platform for the people.
yeah,
That was my premise. That was me and Dave, who's my co-founder. It was our premise. How do you create a platform for the people? How do you get them to be in control of their digital presence? How do you get them to monetize from their digital presence? How do you get them to, you know, how do we not control what they see and what they hear and what they feel? Because big tech controls everything. Now, it's a big proposition, obviously. But obviously, you know, we are UAE homegrown. We're backed by institutional players in the UAE. And I think it's about time. Like, you have to look at the industry as a whole, Mo. Like, the entire social media and everything else, YouTube, this, that is all controlled by US, right?
yeah,
Then you have TikTok, which is China. You have India, which has its own platforms. Russia has Telegram. UAE has actually not come out with a social media platform,
Yeah.
even though they are the most progressive crypto, Web3, blockchain, tech, AI, you know, country regulation-wise out there. We are the first UAE homegrown company out there that represents UAE and what we need to do to penetrate the rest of the world.
But is it safe to say that your platform is only as good as the amount of people that are on it or that use
Absolutely.
it? Because you've said it before in your interview, and I
Absolutely.
watched it, and you're like, we thrive on people. We are from the people, by the people, for the people. So we only are as good as the community that's around us. That's what you said.
We cannot survive and will not survive without the people.
So how are you going to let all these masses use your platform and realize the potential of it when they can take the path of least resistance and just go for free apps and just not worry so much about being paid up? Because if when a person, that's the thing, when a person is so trained to consume,
Yeah.
he does not realize how much he's mentally enslaved
Yeah.
and already part of like the
You know, I love that question, Mel, because I also felt the same thing. I was like, okay, I can't explain it to you, but because
Please.
it makes me quite emotional. But it's a personal journey, but it's also a journey for people. You have to understand a couple of things in what I'm going to say. Not
Yeah.
only is like, you know, we're enslaved by big tech and what they do, but we also have the Web3 element of it, right? And
Yeah.
the future of finance is crypto, but like less than 5% have had adoption. It's very hard to get into, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. You've got so many different ramifications of why people are not in there. So you're right. I mean, if the people do not support what Lively is doing, we will not survive. Absolutely. And I therefore have to place my hope in people and the fact that they will understand the authentic message and the vibe of Lively, that we're doing this for you and you only. Yeah.
But that's the thing, like
Oh
we're
my God, Rockstar Puppy is here. Boo-boos. My love. Hi, baby. Did you get out all of your energy?
Yeah.
Okay, I need him now. In my lap right now. Habuba Albi, Ya Rab. Habuba Albi, come. Hi. He's so
I think he is still
excited.
excited.
That's why he's a Rockstar Puppy. Come here, Boo-boos. Okay. Did he drink water? Yalla, Habibi. Hi. Hi. You want to speak also? You want to speak? He's also speaking for the platform for dogs. Habib Ali, yalla, come on. Go, 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 go. Go to mommy.
It seems like he still has a lot of energy.
He's
huh?
so excited.
Okay.
But you have to be quiet. You have to be quiet, Boo-boos, yalla. You sit here and you be quiet, yalla. Here.
That's so cute.
In the end. Okay, yalla. We're going to be quiet. حبوب قلبي. Okay, يلا.
All right. So that's the thing. Like, this is, even though I'm like such a big supporter and like a big also fan of what you're doing, but honestly, like sometimes it's a bit scary to think how you have to go against all these big tech companies with very deep pockets and try to get all these masses to use your platform. Like, even me just thinking about it sounds overwhelming.
Yeah. We will not succeed if the people are not behind us.
Yeah.
However,
Were you guys
I
doing
was
something about it?
No, to be honest, it's all about energy. I was literally absolutely, you see, we were in beta. Like, we didn't even do an official launch on our platform. I was like, we're the platform for the people. Let the energy decide. This is what we're doing. Do you know, in 6 weeks, we had over 165,000 users that joined. We had an average weight of between 500 and 1,100 people. We had 40,000 wallets connected to our crypto wallet. Mohammed, I was floored by it. And therefore, the only thing that I can say... Did you like the carpet, Habib Albi? شو هذه؟ شو يا عمر؟
165,000 downloads in 6 weeks. That's
6
insane.
weeks. Google Analytics. I'm not making this shit. I'm not making this up. I'm not.
So
here.
wait, what about
I'm not making
what?
it up.
So how many total downloads do you have so far?
13.2 million.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And active users?
I have to look at my Google Analytics report. I think it's huge. It takes my breath away. Hang on.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because it's energy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's energy. I'm telling you. That's all it is. It's energy.
Because I'm just thinking that even if you had to like do a marketing strategy or marketing campaign to get all these users, it would have cost you, God know, an arm and a leg.
Listen, you don't understand. Like, we have built Lively on the... I don't have a marketing budget. I don't have marketing sales teams. We run this like...
Wow.
Yeah, we run this very, very, very conservatively.
So what about the token that you guys have?
Yeah.
How does that work? So you guys can also pay creators using your own
Look,
token.
you have to understand what Lively is. Lively's proposition is not only to be the future of social media, right? And the future of social media to us was very much, you know, how do you build a social monetization platform?
Yeah.
Right? And if you were then only going to do fiat, it doesn't work. You have to, engage crypto, and you have to look at tokenization, because Web3 is all about a tokenized community. How do you reward people that not only consume content, but also like are just users that are just browsing through content, right? They don't necessarily have to buy content.
Yeah.
And everybody should be rewarded, because at the end of the day, big tech is using users and creators and consumers, and, you know, they're using the entire ecosystem to benefit themselves. So how do you really do that? You can only really do that in a tokenized ecosystem. That was one of the first premises for Lively token. The other thing was that if you were going to be able to reward all of these people, fiat would just not work, right? It just wouldn't work. And I think the third for me was basically, how do you reward somebody on the success of your platform?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, as Lively becomes more successful, as the token becomes more successful, everybody really is able to benefit from our success, which goes back to the platform for the people. So tokenization and having your own token was really to demonstrate the fact that we wanted everybody to succeed and earn revenue from our ecosystem. That's it. It was about abundance and financial freedom, which is literally our ethos for Lively.
And then you feel like with all of this and with the growing number of users and the growing number of people using Lively, that this will also create value for the token that you guys offer.
Absolutely, yes. But also, it's actually created something really quite extraordinary, which is this ecosystem where Web 2 and Web 3 players are integrating, which we wanted to, but we didn't think it would happen so quickly. So, typically, your Web3 creators and your analysts and your educators kind of sit in their own Web3 bubble. And now they're being integrated within Web3, like a Web2 ecosystem. And it's creating a great harmony and synergy. So absolutely, yes.
So I have a question for you. What makes a token?
What is your only question, Yani? You have a question for me. What is this the 100th question that you have for me? Okay, go for it.
This
What's the question?
woman's been grilling me and
no.
busting my since she came in. My God.
We have the dog in here. We have Rockstar Puppy. Everything. You've been so gracious.
Thank you. No, but really, what makes a token a good token?
That's such a good question.
Questions.
Look, I think, and I'm going to be biased, obviously.
It's okay.
But you have your institutional tokens, right? You have your Bitcoin, you have your Ethereum, you have your Solana, you have your Sui, you have all of your institutional tokens, which are actually backed by billion-dollar players. Okay, so that's your institutional token. You then have your meme
But only a
coins.
few of them are pegged to specific things, right?
Yeah, pegging is different, but we're talking about backing, like who created them and who's behind them.
Yeah, but
Right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we saw what happened
okay.
with what's his name, Sam Field. What was his name?
Sam Fieldman. Yeah, but that was different.
Yeah.
That was different. We're talking about token players now. Oh, a lot of these. Look, they have invested heavily into communities, and it's not like you and me woke up and decided to do this. Like those guys are backed heavily, and therefore they are institutional tokens.
Okay.
But
so other than that, what?
And then you have your meme coins, right? Your altcoins. And, I was like, the best thing I could possibly do right now is put Rocky on a coin and sell it, right? Because that would probably do better than Lively token that has absolute utility in a platform that's doing things for the people and everything else. Because it just seems that that's Gen Z and that's the trajectory of what's happening right now.
But who would use it outside your platform? That's the thing.
It's really not about who would use it outside the platform, because we are looking at having this it being the ultimate creator token. So we do have plans for that. But it's not about that, because look at all the other tokens. What do they do? I mean, no meme coin really has a functionality. It's driven by community, right? Yeah. But we're talking about being driven by a community that has a one goal, one purpose, aligned vision of being able to monetize in so many different avenues. So that's the community. We're talking about a community of being a platform for the people, and we're talking about a community where you can earn and reward your community in token, and therefore as the platform succeeds, your token grows. Who else has given that option on a token? Yeah. No one.
So basically what you're trying to say is that the token is only as good as the community that's backing it and using it.
As every token.
As every token, because that's the more demand there is for that particular token, the more valuable it is in the eyes.
However, we also have a utility on the token. It's a method of payment within our ecosystem.
Right. So it's kind of like covering the full supply chain in the sense that you can purchase things from your own platform using this token, but people also generate their income using this token. And if you have a lot of people that just believe in what you're doing, then that token becomes acceptable and circulating.
It creates wealth and abundance for everybody in our ecosystem. Our entire premise on the Lively token is again linked to Lively. How do we create abundance and wealth? That's it.
Sorry. Yeah.
How do we create abundance and wealth?
Yeah.
That's the entire premise.
Yeah.
And that's why we did the token.
And the key to creating that, to creating abundance and wealth, in your opinion, is by taking control of the content, of being able to monetize your own content.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've interviewed creators for the last 2 years, creators that are on our platform. So I'll give you a great example. There was one creator, 3 million followers on TikTok, absolutely smashing it. 21 years old, drives a Maserati, lives in the most incredible place. He says, I'm burnt out. Okay? He has to chase an algorithm. He makes good money, but he's like, it's not sustainable for me. So now what does he do with his 3 million followers and creators that he has worked very, very hard to engage with?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you take that 3 million people onto Lively. You engage with a community. There's a community feature. You can do, for example, a Zoom call, and they could tip you $5. They could tip you 10. You could, sell a masterclass. You could start selling content on your end. We're not here to replace social media. That is a farce. Yeah. Social media remains and has a very great purpose. What we're saying is, if you have created and spent the time to create a social media following and a community, how do you monetize and engage with that community on your terms? That's what we're offering.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we're saying we have a tokenized ecosystem because we're Web3 enabled, which means that you could offer tokenized communities with benefits through token. We of course also need to reward users, not only people that are creating content to sell and buy, but also people that are using a platform. Like, we have a point system. You come onto Lively, you set up your profile, you do this, you do that, you do this. You have rewards that get converted into Lively token. Really, what we've tried to do is create a ecosystem where we could benefit and monetize people fairly. And you cannot do that from a fiat ecosystem. You have to do it from a tokenized ecosystem. In addition to that, you have to understand the predominant desire for a utility token in a platform that is the future and is the UA homegrown platform. Imagine what it would be like to have owned a token that could be in Facebook, in TikTok. And I remember there was the interview between Elon and the head of TikTok, and he was like, oh, why haven't you done crypto? And I literally said to Dave, they're going to get to it before we do. We are literally the first SocialFi platform that is Web 2, because a lot of these, like, you had that question, like decentralized platforms, social media decentralized platforms have not succeeded. Why? Because 95% of the population doesn't understand that. They can't access it. It's too complicated. We have literally merged Web 2 and Web 3 seamlessly to be able to benefit everybody, the entire ecosystem, and that's the premise of Lively Token.
Okay. So my next question is, but before that, again, I have to change the
battery.
These batteries are really bad.
What's happening with him? It's cold. He doesn't want to. Okay, give him here. Let me see if he wants to sit with me. Bucky boobies. Literally hope you can.
We can work on that. Don't worry.
Okay. What's my next hard question?
All right. So your next tough question. No, but really, honestly, what is it, or what specific creator pain points is your platform addressing that others are not? Like, why is Lively so special when it comes to addressing these pains?
I love that question. So I think I take myself as an example for first all. It's probably not the ideal response, but for me, I was a professional that was going to leave a corporate job, and I didn't feel like I had a platform where I could monetize everything that I am.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that actually with Lively, that we've had like a lot of doctors. My brother's a dentist, and he's like award-winning. He actually teaches implantology like all around the world. And when we proposed Lively, he was like, oh my God, like he could actually take his business to a digital format online, right? So he could teach surgeries, and he has like 400 patients all around the world, and they were going to pay all their subscription fees, and he could monetize through that. So I think what's interesting, and the reason that Lively was made, it wasn't just about influencers and creators, it was about businesses. It was about independent professionals also having a digital presence where they could monetize online. So that's the most exciting part of it for us. I think it's very different. Look, I think social media is amazing, and I think it gives so many people so much exposure, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not the platform that you could kind of mobilize in a community and sell them a product. And for that, we are Lively. I think also for a lot of independent professionals and businesses that need to monetize online. Look, websites are dead, right? Like you said, oh, right, here's my website. Nobody goes to a website, right? Like if you need to sell something, you're coming to Lively.
Okay.
And on the flip side, it's very much the harmonious integration between Web 2 and Web 3. which we're very proud of.
But that's the second question then.
Okay.
Why is Web3 important for the future of social media?
Okay, so that's such a great question. Okay, look, we've been stuck in social media for a good 10 years, okay? And there hasn't been an evolution.
Yeah.
You know why there hasn't
That's
been an
actually,
evolution?
yeah, that's very true. I actually opened my first Instagram account was 2013.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, 10 years. Okay. Do you know why there hasn't been
15?
an evolution of social media?
Why?
Because they don't want you to evolve. Because they're so happy. They finally got us. They're like, they track everything that we do, our data, what we see, what we hear, how we feel. They've captured everything. Why should there be an evolution? Whereas in tech, do you not think that after 10 years there would be an evolution of social media? Do you not think?
Yeah, actually coming. Yeah, there should be.
Right. Now
It's been stagnant for a while.
A long time.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that tech rapidly progresses year on year. You then have to look at the progressive nature of Web3. But Web3, again, has been stagnant in growth because it cannot infiltrate Web 2. And so what we've tried to do is really make a seamless platform where Web 2 and Web 3 can be integrated, which we've done through our token. And you can literally create a wallet using your Google ID.
Yeah.
It's one step. I mean, people that are so scared of creating crypto wallets are like, oh my God, this is game changing. We love it, So it's the Web 2, Web 3 integration, and social media has never evolved, and it's time for it to evolve. Now, what is the evolution of social media, I think was your question, Mo.
Yeah.
And I think really what it comes down to simply is social monetization. How does the individual make money in big tech? Big tech can make money.
Yeah.
But not all of the money.
They're already making money anyway.
Not all of the money.
Yeah.
And how do you, so now we're talking about various things. We're talking about how does the creator make money? How do you control data? How do you get rewarded? How can you reward users? And all of that, most of that can only happen in a Web3 ecosystem.
A lot of companies must really hate you, huh?
Because
you're like
you're
a disruptor. No, you're not attracting hate, but you're a disruptor.
I'm a disruptor.
So
I hope that I would call myself a revolutionary and not a disruptor.
So they either try to buy you out, or they just realize that they need to change, and then they'll be like, okay, you know what, Farah?
They're never going to change.
Maybe you're right.
They're never going to change. I'm never going to be right. I'm not a fantasist.
Yeah. I like how realistic you are.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So I'm either going to be shot or... and that's why I say that we are the platform for the people, because it is only with the people that we will succeed.
Yeah.
And therefore I urge every person that loves social media, that loves being on there, that's okay. I'm not saying that that's not where you should be. What I'm saying is if you want to make a business out of it, consider Lively. If you want to understand what is the future of finance, what is the future, which is Web3, come to Lively. We have incredible crypto players that are on there educating Web2 audiences in a very Web2 intuitive way as to what is the future of finance. The future of finance is Web3. The future of social media is Lively. Like, we've integrated it for you. We are the platform that people come to us. It's about attraction.
So basically right now, if I leave this room and I decide that I want to monetize...
Are you not totally have I not Star Trek to you already?
No.
Come on, Mo.
You have, so if I download this Lively and I start using... Actually, first of all, is there an app for it?
There's no app for it right now.
But there will be?
Yeah, and I mean, Apple has been sitting on our Lively app for forever. Literally, they've literally been sitting on it. Apple, I love you, but please can you approve our Lively app?
They don't like you. They don't like what you're doing.
No, they don't like it.
You're disrupting.
No, we're disrupting, but also because they take 30% of all revenue.
Right.
Okay. They don't like token or crypto. Fine. We put a basic application in. We're hoping it approves. Apple, we love you. Let's do this together. We love you. But yes, you will have an app very soon. It'll be limited in functionality like every other app that monetizes in the world. Yes.
Okay. So you know
that OnlyFans does not have an app. I'm just saying. $7.75 billion, they don't have an app. Okay. But I'm just saying.
Wait, they don't have what?
They don't have an app.
Shit, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Do they have a token?
No.
They don't.
No, we're the only ones, guys.
So
We're
so
the
why
only
so
ones.
how come why does OnlyFans not have their own token?
Because they're not as Web3 progressive as we are, I guess.
Okay, interesting.
Listen, nobody has their own token. This is what you have to understand. We're like the first social media, socialify app that has its own token.
So do you think you'll be able to have the ability to convert these tokens into fiat currencies later?
Absolutely is. We're working on that, like literally as we speak. We're
Okay.
looking at off-ramp solutions. We're looking at buying Lively token through our platform. We're looking at everything to make the user journey absolutely seamless and for you to benefit from it. Absolutely. That's
Okay.
I
And
work on that
speaking
every
of
day.
users,
Ooh.
so how does their feedback play into the growth of your platform and how to improve it?
I love that question. So I know you're bored of hearing this.
I'm not.
I know you're
Do
bored.
I look bored? I'm very
I know
intrigued.
you're bored. I know you're bored, right?
Wallah, I'm not bored. Wallah.
Okay.
Wallah.
He's not
I'm-
bored. Yay!
I'm
okay.
not.
You're not bored?
No.
Okay.
well, do I look bored? I'm the one asking all the questions. Unless you wanna interview me, but I'm not. I'm not as interesting as you are. So
No, not at all. We're both very, very interesting. So we're doing this. The platform for the people required people to get involved. So I had
Right.
a very, I had an ethos from day one, which was we build in public.
okay.
And what that meant was that we were going to build in public and we were going to have we started off with only 200 founding creators. And we're like, we're building in public. This is what it looks like. Guys, comment. Because, they talk about all this stuff, right? When you're a tech startup, they're like, oh, did you reach product market fit? Like, who uses your platform? Where did you, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to build something for like a year and then discover whether it has product market fit or not, right? That doesn't work. Like, let me just build in public. That's why you have to understand, Mo, we've never had a Lively official launch because I have not officially launched my platform yet.
You haven't officially
No, we haven't launched.
Oh
We
my
have not
God.
launched.
But somehow, yeah.
165,000
But somehow
users,
this woman
500.
has the 13 million downloads.
Yeah, because we have not launched it. You know why? Because we're building in public. So we built in public. And I want to make this very clear to everybody. Like, we are not a perfect platform because we're building in public. You know why? Because Dave, bless him, my co-founder Dave, is absolutely fabulous. Literally listens to every single person. And they say this, that. We accumulate everything. And the thing that wins.
Nice.
Because I do not want to build a platform in isolation from what people need to be able to monetize when we're the platform for the person. So
Obviously, because
no, we
then,
build
then,
in
then
public.
yeah, and because then there's gonna be a big disconnect.
Totally. And to be honest, it has been the scariest thing on planet Earth. Scariest.
Yeah.
Right? Because, for example, I thought that video conferencing would have been way at the beginning, which it wasn't. It's only become something real now, because we kind of built it out like a year and a half ago, but now it was like rolled out and everyone's like, okay, but that was actually not the priority. The priority was definitely something else. So we're building in public, we're building for the people with the people.
Nice. I like that. But like, what future features do you have for people and for creators that are using your platform?
So we literally are working on on-ramp, off-ramp right now with a Lively token. Number 2, we're listing with Bitpanda next. We were actually going to list this week, but I've just pushed it out. So Bitpanda, Coinmina.
Nice.
With M2, we're launching an earn program for staking for our token holders. In terms of features, we have literally everything. Video calls are going out this week. We have live streaming that is happening, but I think the on-ramp, off-ramp is going to be a mega change, and literally we're just listening to our creators and everything they need. That's what we build.
Amazing. So basically, you're very much hands-on and like with whatever.
Oh my God, we're literally in the trenches.
That's good.
That's
I
why
love
we're
that.
sneakers. The
But
corporate heels are gone.
You're tapping into a market that most people are not even aware of, which is the creator economy and the creator market. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember that the UAE is always at the forefront of most of these things, and they actually announced that they're going to create a content creator headquarter here.
Yeah.
with a budget of almost like 40, 50 million dirhams. So
You know why? Because the creator economy currently sits on like $150 billion. It's estimated to reach $250 billion. So it's going to double that by 2025. US has actually said that a creator is actually a legitimized profession.
yeah,
And I think that you have to look at
it is. I mean, a lot of people make a lot of money from it.
yeah, and therefore, do you know what? You need Lively.
Yeah.
Because what? Are you
You'll
going to
make
be
more money.
You creating these creators to do what? To make big tech richer? Is that what we're doing right now? I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing? You need the future. And that's why I said, what is the future of social media? It's actually social monetization. How do you monetize from being social on a platform? And that's what we've created. And not only fiat, but also crypto and Web3. That's the future, and that's what we've created.
Awesome. And from the day that you started, what would you say has been the biggest surprise that you've had so far? Whether it's pleasant or bad.
Surprise, surprise. Okay.
Surprise, surprise.
To be honest, Mo, so I'll do like 3 good surprises and like 1 bad one, because actually the 3 good ones are actually on my head.
Wait, let's start with the bad one first, and then we'll talk about the good one.
All right, bad one was like AWS costs.
What?
AWS costs, because like everybody that uses our platform, like we have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, that's how expensive it is. AWS costs was my that was a negative surprise. I was like, okay, how do we control our own data center?
Yeah.
Okay. Love AWS. We love you. But just say. But the 3 biggest surprises to me was user engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mohammed, I can't tell you, like having that many people, like I was trying to get like 100. I was like,
I'm happy with 100.
Well, no, I said, I was like 100 happy customers. We're good. Okay. I didn't expect 165,000. I didn't expect like 7.3 million, user experiences. I didn't expect 40,000 wallets connected. Like that was an incredible surprise. What was your question?
No, I was saying that. What was the biggest surprise?
That was the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I think the second biggest surprise was that the integration between Web3 and Web2, because our Web3 guys were like, are you really Web3? Right?
Yeah.
There's no way you're Web3. You're like web app. You're like so Web2. You never engage the Web3 community. This, that. You're not gamified. I mean, literally, I've sat in boardrooms of people that told me that I was not Web3.
Yeah.
People that told me that there is no way that you could put a token together at my age. And 4, like there's literally, you don't know. One day I'm going to tell you the story. It's not for air. Like literally, like I sat in a boardroom of like 10 people in April, and they all told me I was absolutely insane. Okay, because they were all like Web3 Gen Z guys, and I was like, okay. And I left the boardroom. I went into my office. I have a big whiteboard, and I mapped out. I did listen to everything that everybody says, because I always believe in being educated. And I literally mapped everything that I needed to do to be a holistic Web3 play. Okay, we caned Web3.
This woman is determined. Okay.
Yes, I was. And imagine listening to it, because like I didn't know what Web3 was about 6 months ago. Okay, I'll admit that. But I was like, okay, like I'm going to hear you and I'm going to conquer. So the biggest surprise was actually the amount of love and respect that we had from Web3 users and Web2 users that were like, oh my God, like I want to learn and I want to buy your token. I just don't know how. I got my first wallet by being on Lively, and I didn't know how to do that. So that was the biggest surprise. The most detrimental, like I said, was my AWS cost, because we had like 165,000 users on Lively and my bill shot up. Good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But like, if Farah had to leave a legacy behind,
oh my God. Okay.
what would it be? And then I'll ask you another question on my own.
Legacy. So I don't have children. I know that you have a son that you're obsessed with. I have a little dog that I'm obsessed with, but
I'm planning to have more kids, inshallah.
Good for you, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
I mean, I don't want to come off as being, arrogant or facetious, but legacy for me would mean that I was able to build something that benefited mass population. And, you know what I've always found that I really wanted to revolutionize? And that was like, you know, when we grew up, like, you know, my parents were like, oh, doctor, dentist, lawyer. You have to be like these three things. And then you strive to be that. And I was a lawyer. My brother was a dentist. And you feel that you have to be on this corporate treadmill. Yeah. And we all have felt it, and everybody's been on it. And the corporate life is not very positive or lucrative or beneficial, right? Yeah. But you're all on a treadmill. And society trains you to say that you, and you know, Europe is even worse, right? I was like literally with my best friend this weekend, and you know, they literally believe that they work for like 40 years, 50 years of their life, and then they get a pension. You know what I mean? And that's the treadmill. And they're happy with that, and that's okay. What I'm talking about,
because they've been indoctrinated to think it's okay.
Exactly. But then there's this side parallel universe that is happening. And the side parallel universe that is happening is creator economy, which is like exponentially growing. But the creator economy is not benefiting from them. They're making other people richer. Then you have the Web3 economy, where you have people that are benefiting financially. But again, it's restricted because the adoption rate is too low. What my legacy would be if I could transform the lives of 100,000 people and have them to create financial abundance through their digital presence, I would be a happy girl.
So that being said, what would the younger Farah say to you? Or what would you say to the younger Farah, 20-year-old Farah? I mean, you look 20, but like...
Thank you. I would say, and I think I said this recently, but I still haven't adopted it. So thank you for the reminder, right? Is enjoy the journey. And everybody that knows me is like, Farah, can you like relax, chill, enjoy the journey, whatever? I never enjoy the journey.
Why?
Because I'm always so stressed out about the delivery and the execution of something that I don't enjoy the journey. So I would tell everybody, whatever is happening in your life, enjoy the journey. If you have food and you are safe, and you have a roof over your head, and you can sleep, you're already winning. Yeah. Anything else above that right now, Mohammed, is an absolute privilege. And I think that's also where I come from. I feel my life is such a privilege that if I do not spend my life creating something better for other people, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you, because at the end of the day, what differentiates us from animals or any other living creatures is the fact that we can make conscious decisions, the fact that we can have the ability to make some sort of change, like have that God-given gift to put some input in this world and make it a better place, and contribute all collectively to just really improve overall well-being.
And you know, Mohammed, the reason that I say that also is like, the people do not want to support Lively on its journey, then ultimately we fail and big tech wins. So we've put this together. Yeah. You guys decide whether you're on the journey with us or not.
That would be sad, I mean, honestly, if they win, because that's the last thing you would want that you would want to happen.
Absolutely. And you know, it haunts me every day, but every day I struggle to believe that there is some humanity and consciousness left. And we're not all followers of, I mean, I've spoken about this so many times before. They want to create us to be followers. You know, on average, we spend 3 to 6 hours on social media every single day. Where does that benefit you? It does not benefit you. Yeah. Now, can you imagine, like, that is what we're talking about. But if everybody wants to be a follower, then okay, khalas, be a follower. But we're giving another solution. We're giving a optimized, you know, aware solution. We built this for you. I have not done this for myself. I don't have children. I'm not going to leave a legacy behind. I've done this, the platform for the people. We've done this for you. Either we get the people to support us or we don't. And you know what? That will be the ultimate challenge, the test of success. Yeah. And also, Mohammed, like, do we need to do this? I could have been a corporate. I can have a great salary.
You could have been chilling.
I could be chilling, you know.
I'm like, you wouldn't have to be sitting here doing this podcast with this guy.
No, I love it. I love it. But what I'm saying is, I really, really hope that people understand the authenticity of what we have built. We have built it for people. I have built it with Dave and our co-founders and our funders and our backers because we really believe in a positive place. We believe in freedom. We believe in abundance. We believe in people following passion. We believe in Web3. But we cannot do this alone. We do this with you or we fail. And if we fail, I will sleep very well at night knowing that I tried to do something. The people did not embrace it. And that's why I always say it's a platform for the people. We build in public. We take feedback. We built it for you. People, we built this for you. That's all we've done. We built it for you. Whether you want it or you don't want it, we are here. We built it for you. I
actually never asked you. How much did you raise so far? If you're allowed to disclose.
Yeah. To be honest, like the first 2 years, I funded everything myself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I really believed in the conviction of it. It took a lot longer, to be honest. I don't think I can say the exact number, but we raised, I went to, you have to also understand, Mohammed, like I come from a corporate M&A background, right? Like I know a lot of people. I could not raise. I literally when we had more than
you knocked on God knows how many doors.
150 VC doors.
Wow.
Knowing I've been in the region for 25 years, I've raised billions and billions of dollars, right? Like everyone's like, oh, we really like the idea and, but I don't know, get 100 users and build a tech and let's have a think about it. Obviously, those people I would never knock on their door ever again. They've lost the opportunity of a lifetime. But I think we had to change our investment strategy. And after the 132 VC, I was like, okay, they're not getting it. And you have to understand that at that time you're going to fail, right?
Yeah.
But we managed to raise. So I actually don't think I can tell the figure. It's not enough. Because tech always needs more.
You're always burning a lot.
We're always burning. And we burn because of the users that are on your platform. But we have raised from, all I would say, Mohammed, is we have raised from people that believed in the vision, which was much more important than raising from a VC. And one of our biggest supporters and backers was Phoenix Group, which was the biggest, largest tech blockchain Web3 Bitcoin miner that listed on Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange December last year, backed by Abu Dhabi government. M2, which is the first UAE homegrown crypto exchange, backed us. So we had great institutional backing from the region that believed in the vision, and that was the most important.
Wow. I am looking so forward to downloading this whenever the app's ready and actually using it.
You're not going to download. You're going to go to web.
Yeah, I'm going to use web.
Yeah, use web. You know why you
I want to see if I'm going to be able to monetize from this.
You know why you should use web? Because we wanted to have our users get familiar with it.
Yeah.
Because that is the way that you're going to monetize fully and get your 80%. If you are going to go on app, Apple's going to take 30, and then you're back in the big tech game, right? So let's just get down to basics.
Okay. Well, Farah, that was lovely.
It really wasn't, but okay.
Thank you so much.
It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Thank you very, very much.
I had a lot of fun. Even though she completely...
I did. I renovated everything, but I still don't think that it was as optimal as it could be, but you will tell us. We can never satisfy such beautiful ladies. What can we do? All right. Ciao,
that was good.
Bye.